Back here again, this time for a movie review called Cold Storage, directed by Johnny Kimball and screenplay written by David Koepp. Of course, this stars Joe Keery as Travis, Georgiana Campbell as Naomi, Williams and Liam Neeson as Robert Quinn, Suze as Susie Bacon. So, pretty much two employees, Travis and Naomi, they're working at a self-storage company, had the wildest shift of their lives when a parasitic fungus that was sealed by the government escapes. As the temperature rises underground, the highly contagious and rapidly mutating microorganism starts to multiply as it unleashes a brain-controlling, body-bursting terrors on the facility inhabitants, human and otherwise. Now, let me just first off start out by saying really, really good, effects and really, really good shots. As far as the camera work goes, the look of the fungus and the look of the fungus as they as Travis and Naomi are trying to figure out ways, look up ways, and figure out ways to try to stop this microorganism and like highly contagious fungus from spreading across the parts of Kansas, which is crazy. And never in my wildest dreams that I would imagine, of course, these three actors that you see in this teaser here would be pairing up to stop a parasitic fungus that which they gotta fumigate and contain before it spreads out, and it's also engaging and wildly entertaining to say the least. I really enjoy all three of these performances by, of course, like I said, Joe Keery, Georgiana Campbell, Liam Neeson. I thought they all had really good on-screen chemistry. There are at times that I feel like the film did get away from the back and forth chemistry between Travis and Naomi at times, but once we get more layered and get more focused with the story, and once we started adding more characters to the premise, I feel like once they get more chemistry and got back into it, I really feel like it kept the entertaining portion of the chemistry between those two really really good. And I thought Robert Quinn, Liam Neeson, I thought he added an extra flair. I thought he added extra layer and dynamic to a film as far as like trying to as he got called upon by people that's inside of the as a detective from the task force, as you try to get more control of this fungus that was pretty much spread throughout the storage facility. And not only that, it was spreading out throughout parts of Kansas as well. It was crazy. What a wild, bonkers, barbaric kind of film, zombie film that really keeps you on the edge and keeps you on your toes. It really has so much to offer, and again, wildly entertaining to say the least. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a lot of good, funny one-liners. I definitely like one of the one-liners that Travis, Joe Keery's character, had kind of said, which I'm not gonna spoil that part about the film, but you'll know when you get to the part of the movie when you see it. It was pretty funny to me. I thought Naomi, her character, pretty much because she like I said, she's known for just working in a storage facility. She's never really held any weapons. She's never really shot or had any firearms with her ever. So the fact that we saw her do that was pretty crazy. But like I said, the main experienced guy is of course Robert Quinn, Liam Neeson. I thought he had really good on-screen chemistry with them too. I thought they all had something to really offer. Sosie Bacon really doesn't get a lot of credit in this film. She plays the Dr. Harold. I think she thought she really had a good performance in here as well. I think that this film really adds a lot of layers, and I never really a lot of layers as far as building up the tension, building up the gore, building up the whole part of this fungus that was spreading throughout every integrated and integral parts of Kansas, and it was just crazy after that, man. This is not a stereotypical zombie film that, like, as far as showing and seeing most of the affected, it's not a film. It's not a zombie film that I would typically say that. Yeah, it did have some gross, grotesque moments, but it's not a stereotypical zombie film that you'll like go and like, have to sit there and process and have to really sit there and ask questions. No, it gives you a lot of answers and it really puts a lot of everything in front as far as, explaining, the story arc behind the premise, the things that happened, and how they was gonna stop and contain this fungus. So I thought that it didn't really have a lot of like complexity as far as the story and narrative. So it wasn't particularly nuanced in that sense, but it was very new as far as how things that went about with these main three leads. I thought they really did a solid job with that with the portion of this film, man. I really enjoyed it. Uh, like I said, had a lot of good comedic one-liners, had a lot of good comedic moments when it need to be, and it knew how to take itself seriously. But then at times it didn't. It knew how to not take itself seriously to a point where it made the audience very much. It made myself feel entertained without trying to take itself so much seriously. But when it did, it really hits. It really hits the backbone and the forefront of it. And I really had a good time watching it, man. Uh, there was a couple of moments where Robert Quinn, Liam Neeson's character, he had a line with one of his partners, and I thought that was pretty. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty bold and courageous that they did that. And like I said, you'll know when you watch it when it happens. I thought that was pretty entertaining. So yeah, very very entertaining film, very much so something that I will behold. So yeah, my biggest pros. Number one is the shots, the camera work, and also the writing by David Kep. And I thought the camera shot takes by Johnny Campbell, I thought was pretty good. It was pretty unique. Secondly, I like the chemistry between our main three leads with Liam Neeson, Georgiana Campbell, and Joe Keery. I thought they really did a good job. And I will say I really like, and the third biggest thing is the runtime, is basically the pacing. I thought the pacing was really, really solid. The only big gripe that I would say is my only negative with the film is that the plot, the subplots, and also the story arc, it's not necessarily a lot more nuanced. Like, it's very familiar territory as far as the fungus, as far as the virus is spreading throughout a whole part of an area in a city, and parts of the area and parts of a city. I thought we've seen this kind of story arc before. If you go back to any of the zombie films in the past, like George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead and the Dead franchise, I thought that was pretty much there. And of course, if you ever seen 28 Days Later in the original that came out in 2002, this very much has a lot of familiar plot points and beats from those films as well. So it's not familiar when it comes to particular zombie films. So that would be the only thing I would say I would take away from it. But other than that, I thought this film was very, very well done, very well told. I thought it had a really good premise, a really good arc. Uh, and it keep you on your toes guessing. That's the main thing I really enjoy about it. So I would say check this one out. I don't know necessarily if it's a movie theater theatrical release, uh, but if you go in to see it in the movie theater, I would recommend seeing it over a lot of other films that's out. Definitely the one that I just reviewed last, but was Dracula, and then of course you got Wuthering Heights. I would definitely see this over those films because this was highly. I really was engaged throughout. I really had a lot of fun with this one. So I would say definitely go see it if you want to go see it over other films. But if you're kind of just looking for something to really get yourself bound and entertained by, I definitely say, but check this one out, man. So I give this 3 out of 4 stars. Uh, Recommend it. It was a good film for me. Had a really, really fun time with it. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Cold Storage. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below if you have seen it. But if you have not seen it, are you planning to go see it? All right, I'm out. Peace.